channel. I do hope you're doing well. So I am a little bit delayed on this video. Normally I do it straight after the holiday content, but we've had a few in amongst the midst of things. But I always do a roundup. Whatever holiday we do, we have a little roundup and I go through stuff as costings, excursions, where we stayed, things to do, things not to do. And then I think we have a travel diaries coming up, which, you know me, I love a good travel diaries where we get the old pictures out and yeah, we just have a little trip down memory lane. I say memory lane, it's probably not even a month since we've been back, but my goodness, it feels like an entirety. So yes, if you are on the hunt or looking into St Lucia next year for a vacation, stay tuned because I'll give you all the ins and outs. And if you really want to have a look, there's 5 vlogs for you to go and catch up on, and yeah, they're probably about 10 hours of your life that you'll never get back watching me. So I do have a coffee to hand in one of the little souvenirs that I picked up, guys, my little St Lucia mug. And I have a coconut latte because I can't lie, I'm not adjusting to this coldness. It's too cold for my liking and I need the hotness to warm me back up. But a lot of people say with the Caribbean, do not go in hurricane season. I always go September to October to the Caribbean just because it's off peak, because it's hurricane season. You tend to get a bit of a deal. God, I can't even get my words out today. And also, I always find I've been very lucky when I've been. You might get the odd few days of rain or an odd few mornings and then it will brighten up. I think I also like to go out of term time. It's a lot quieter. And also, it just seems to be a bit more chilled. They say that actually from November in St Lucia in any case, they said November it really starts to pick up again. So as I say, we went late September. We flew out on the 24th of September and we come back on the 9th of October. Normally when I go to the Caribbean I would go early September because that way you still kind of get a good bit of the weather from August. But I wouldn't say going later on in the year has put me off at all, to be perfectly honest. I think it's hit and miss. It's swings and roundabouts. You could get it, you could get it, you could not. As you would have seen if you've seen the vlogs, we had a few mornings of rain, we had a few evenings of rain, but predominantly on the whole in the daytime it was fine. There was, I think towards the end of the holiday, we was at the pool a couple of afternoons and we had like a sharp sudden shower of rain, but apart from that, and it's different rain. It sounds probably so cliche, but it's warm rain. So it's absolutely lovely, to be perfectly honest. It's so nice to, well, if you're in the pool, I had to get out because through the whole of the duration, I actually couldn't get my hair wet because it's still in the bleeding phase. And I didn't really fancy turning the pool red or the sea red, and yeah, so I kept out of the rain. So when it did, I quickly scarpered under the parasols, whereas Dan just stayed out in the pool. He was like, I'm wet already, and his hair, there was no bleeding coming from his hair. But yes, it was a lovely, very different. So I say different. I've done a few of the Caribbean islands and I feel they're all so similar, but also different in the same aspect. So St Lucia, the vibe that we got was they was very big on their farming, bananas, plantain, everything is so locally grown and locally sourced. There is obviously things that they have to have imported, but they pretty much grow everything on land, and whatever they can't grow, they either go without or they import. Bananas was their main factor. We saw banana trees, we saw plantain trees, we saw how they put the bags over them when they're due to drop, I think. And bananas went in everything. We've actually bought a bottle of banana ketchup home, which we actually tried last night. And you know what? It doesn't taste too dissimilar to normal. You just get that kind of, it's going to sound weird for a ketchup, but like the creamy aftertaste on the banana one. And then we also have a banana and honey barbecue sauce. We opened that last night and I'm like, that's got some baby back ribs from the butchers and that's smothered all over it, written all over it. Oh God, that's getting very light. I do apologise, guys. And I've also just realised this is probably the first video with the bed up. This literally come up I think 2 days ago we put this up. The beds are still not made. Please don't judge me on that. Oh my god, that sun is blinding. Are you coming out now because we're talking about St Lucia? I mean, you're kind of washing me out. I look like I've lost my tan, but yeah, I can't be bothered to get up and move the blinds, to be perfectly honest, guys. But yeah, this is the first video, I think, with the bed done. Around it, it might look, this little section put together around it, it is absolutely horrendous still. I've finished taking a detour. I've finished putting the wardrobe in the back room, everything in there. I've now realised I don't have space for my accessories, so we're just not gonna, it's a very, very sore subject at the moment because I'm like, there's literally no room. And I've got rid of so much stuff and I'm like, how did I cope before? I feel like I have more wardrobe space now. But technically I don't, because I'm using them for shoes and bags. Whereas I should really have been using them for clothing. But it's absolutely fine. Oh, the sun has gone now. The sun has gone behind the cloud. Thank goodness for that. So yes, we went to a park called Smuggler's Cove. And it was not even 5 minutes drive from Rodney Bay. So Rodney Bay I'd heard of before, and they told us a little bit of history around it. You have the marina, there was like a little shopping complex and village there. But we was on Smuggler's Cove and we stayed at the Royalton. Now the Royalton is a chain of hotels, in essence. And once you've been to one, it seems like you've been to them all, because they all are the same restaurants and they're the same like pool layouts. It's a very, very similar, you know, like if you go to a Hilton, then it's all the same, or a Premier Inn or Holiday Express, whatever like that. It, however, was slightly different on the outskirts. I've only ever stayed at one Royalton before. That was when I went to Jamaica last year. And for me, Jamaica had a bit more of an entrance. And they had a little bit more segregation for like Diamond Club members. So the one thing for me was in the Diamond Club section. So within Royalton, you have your regular stay, then you can have a Diamond Club stay, and then you can have a normal room or a swim up room with or without Diamond Club service. And you can also have Hideaway. They have a section part of Royalton called Hideaway, which is adults only. So last year at Jamaica, Hideaway was like a complete separate resort. This year at St Lucia, it was kind of just like the end block. But people could still walk through if they was going to the beach and that, which in Jamaica you didn't. If you had Hideaway, it was full seclusion. And we spoke to a couple of people who was in the Hideaway bit, and they said it wasn't really the, not like service, but it wasn't the vibe that they felt. They felt that they would be secluded off of the main premises in essence, and then you're away like how it was in Jamaica. But this was literally, it was just the end block with their restaurant. You had that pool, but in terms of their part of the beach, like anyone, we could just walk down there, and they actually done the romantic beach dinners on their part of the beach. So yeah, I would look into if you was going to do Hideaway. As I say, it was adults only Hideaway, but depending on the time of year you go, as I say, we went September, October, you didn't really have school children there. So weigh up whether it's worth the extra cost. Diamond Club, I definitely feel is worth the extra cost for me personally. As I say, I done it last year. It kind of come off of the back of when I went to Dominican, and if you've been with me for that long, you will know the absolute palaver I had with Dominican. And then they upgraded me to a room. What's there? Oh, you guys are commenting on the videos, thank you very much. You all know the palaver I had with Dominican, and they put me in a suite with a butler, and I was like, oh, I kind of like this. I didn't have to worry about dinner reservations. I just said where I wanted to go and it was all done and dusted for me. So yeah, Royalton is this equivalent, the Diamond Club, to having your butler service. And we had two butlers, Trevor and Neil, and they went above and beyond on everything that we could have imagined. They done little things for Dan's birthday belated, early anniversary. It was really, really nice. You keep checked in via a WhatsApp group. So you have a WhatsApp with you and your butlers, and they'll send you the entertainment for the day, what's on, what meals, you book your meals through them. If there's any problems with your reservations, they just come back to you there and then. If you want anything taken care of, something a little bit more special or a requirement, they will do their best to endear on that. They was very accommodating with Dan when they found out he liked whiskies and rums. We would be by the pool. They would come over with one that you couldn't get from the normal bar. They would bring over like local sourced rums and whiskies and was like, if you need a bottle, I can hook you up. So he loved it. As I say, if you've seen the vlogs the very first day, he was well and truly merry on all the cocktails and ended up actually falling asleep sitting up for the evening entertainment. So yeah, they was very, very nice. If there was any problems, we had the bath. Now guys, I can't remember. I'm going to have to look back on Jamaica. I feel I had a leaking bath in Jamaica. And it's where you have the freestanding bath. And it just, after you emptied it out, nothing immediately come out. We would go for dinner and come back and there'd be like a little puddle. So we was to and fro because we had various people and they didn't know what to do. And then they ended up getting someone else out, or the head of maintenance. And it was all fixed for us. But it's just them little touches. We wanted to go to Pigeon Island. And we said like, this is what we want to do. How can we get there? And they're like, literally, we'll sort you a cab. They'll pick you up, drop you off, return you back. Easy as pie, basically. So I do like that. I think for me, more, I done Diamond Club last year because it was more of a secluded area, and being a solo traveller last year, I didn't want to have to go into like a main pool hustle and bustle. I don't know whether we'll do Diamond Club next year. Dan he didn't say anything bad about it, but we shall see. We might go for a different vibe. We're thinking next year, I'm 30, he's 35. What can we do? Do we do another Caribbean island? Do we do something different? Do we do a cruise? Do we do something within like the south of America? Doing like the deep south, like Texas and Nashville? But I don't know. I don't know. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about St Lucia. So, currency wise, I took the US dollar, but they also have East Caribbean dollar. So if you go into Castries, which was the capital, a lot of the stalls would have East Caribbean dollar and also the US dollar, and whichever worked out. I believe they said that East Caribbean dollar never fluctuates, whereas obviously a US dollar does. We also went on several trips. Now the trips we originally was going to book through TUI, and I didn't have a good write-up on the TUI trips. So we ended up booking them through the excursion company, Royalton Excursions, at the hotel. We got a slightly better rate. We also got a few more little perks, and it was a smaller capacity. So you know, sometimes when you go on boat trips and that, sometimes you are so crammed on and it's just not enjoyable. The Royalton's ones were purely just for Royalton members when we was there. I think it was only on the one where we went to the waterfalls, you merged in with other hotels because it was obviously a much larger scale tour. But excursion wise, there was quite a bit to do there. I was slightly gutted because they had a picture of a scuba dive on their Royalton Excursions and they said they didn't do scuba diving. I was very gutted about that because scuba diving was like up there. So maybe that would be a next year thing. That would be a next year. We done a boat trip out to, it went to Marigot Bay. We also done waterfalls. We done the volcanic mud baths. We went to Castries. We done a rum distillery. We also went to the street party because when we went there, the day we landed was also the day that the Olympic gold medalist had landed. So we've done quite a bit out there. I'm just trying to think. Zip lining. How could I forget zip lining? How could I forget zip lining? But yeah, there was a good mixture, and there were some that you could do of an evening. They had other adrenaline ones. We done a tram. Never ever done a tram in the rainforest, but that was really nice. So yeah, there is definitely a mixture of trips and varieties. And to say, if you want to go off into town, you can get a cab. Depends what part you are, because I believe we was over the Atlantic Ocean side. I don't really know Sufri. We wasn't near Sufri side. And then we also went to Pigeon Island. So as I say, Pigeon Island wasn't a tour or anything from anywhere. It's just one of their national parks. We got a cab down from the hotel, paid our entry, in we went. And it was where the French and British took up base, basically, when they was invading or trying to capture the country. I don't quite understand the full historical meaning behind it. I'm not good with stuff like that. But we climbed Fort Rodney, and then Dan was like, let's climb the mountain. I'm like, you can't climb that. We got to a certain point and I was like, that's it, there's no more. He found the most treacherous path and we made it to the top. I rolled my ankles several times and thought, that's it, I'm a goner. But yeah, we made it to the top. Silly us, didn't pack any water because we didn't expect to go on this huge hike, but while we was there we thought, hey not. And you would have seen me after that video. We went into the little shop that was outside Pigeon Island and I sunk a bottle of Red Stripe and a bottle of apple cider honey strongbow. That went down delicious. I do say so myself, that went down delicious. But yeah, a lot of historical bits, and the tour guides, whenever you seem to go out there, they are always so passionate about their country, speaking of the facts and everything. So yeah, very, very historical, very, very lovely. In terms of the flight there, the airport is small, guys, okay? If you are looking for duty free, my advice, pick it up in Castries. So I was going to get some tobacco for Dada, and when we got to duty free at St Lucia, you come through your security and everything. The security is very strict. They're coming back, shoes off, everything off, like, and they thoroughly go through your bags. Mine got pulled up. I was like, great. They get pulled up for some reason for the perfumes. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I got pulled up going out of Gatwick, and then leaving St Lucia I got pulled up. And then also what's that? What's my bra strap? No one needs to be seeing that, do they? But you come out of the security bit for St Lucia. There was a duty-free shop, a souvenir shop, then it was all the seated down terminals. You had the toilets, a duty-free, and like a souvenir. And then upstairs was 2 shops, like food shops, and a patty store and a sandwich shop. So it was really, really small, that airport. That is probably, I would say, the smallest airport that I've been in. There was only 6 terminals, like 6 gates. 6 terminals, my god, that makes it sound huge. There were 6 gates. And yeah, very, very small. So as I would say, if with duty free, alcohol wasn't a problem there. Like, they had plenty for with your chairman's reserve and your bounty rums and everything like that in duty free. But I wanted to get my dad some tobacco and they just sold out and they had no more tobacco. So I managed to pick him up some fags. But if you do want tobacco, if you want drink, the drink in Castries is ridiculously cheap. If you would have seen in the vlogs, the chairman's reserve, Dan got a litre bottle. It cost something like $12 in Castries, and our resort was selling it for, I think, almost 60. So yeah, it's a big, big difference. I think even at the airport still, it was only about $15 or $17. So it wasn't too far off of Castries, and obviously a hell of a lot cheaper than what you would get at the hotel. But definitely, if you want a bit of duty free, I would say Castries. And I'm trying to think my knowledge here. If you go to Castries, on the left hand side you have like their market, their fish and food and everything like that, and you have all these traffic lights. If you go right and just walk down, you get about halfway down, you pass like a 3-level bar, and when you go in there, it's like an indoor shopping complex, and they have a duty-free shop in there, and that was where Dan picked his up. So as I say, definitely worth a little look at if you are looking for some duty-free. In terms of on-site at the Royalton, you're gonna pay through the roof. I mean, we got 2 share bags of crisp and it was about $24. That is astronomical. They definitely make up on bits with tourisms and snacks. The souvenirs wasn't too bad at the resort. I think it was 3 magnets for $15. So it's about 12-13 quid, but they was the nice clay ones that like are made. And then also on site, the Royalton does have a lot of amenities, let's just say, and their entertainment of an evening was great. We didn't see much of the entertainment, I can't lie. We was either stuffing our face or back at the room or chilling in the pool. But there was a few nights we saw the Michael Jackson, we saw the fire show, we went to a white party, but the white party wasn't on the beach. That was the only thing. I wish the white party had have been on the beach, but it's okay. The restaurants for the Royalton was next to none. We had, so you have your main buffet, breakfast, lunch, dinner. With Diamond Club you also have the Italian restaurant Grazie, but they open that for breakfast and lunch only for Diamond Club members, and that is a sit down a la carte menu for breakfast and lunch. Very, very nice if you like your fresh omelettes, your eggs hollandaise and smoked salmon. Oh, I'm hungry just thinking about it. I've got a roast chicken downstairs cooking. I need to go and have some of that, I think. You then had the Zen restaurant, that was teppanyaki around the table and normal Japanese food. You had Armadillo, which was like Tex-Mex. You had Hunter's Steakhouse. Calypso is the West Indian restaurant. Grazie was your Italian. And then you did have the culinary experience, but they didn't have the booking in time before we went home. However, we did do the romantic beach dinner. That was very lovely as well. So I think all in all, the Royalton, it's not a cheap holiday. I'm going to say that. But I think for me, I have one abroad holiday a year and I'm like, I like that. I just like to go away, relax and be done. But as I say, you don't have to go Diamond Club. You could go a regular boarding with a swim up room if that was what you wanted, or you could just go a Diamond Club normal room if you didn't want all the swim up but you wanted to be able to have the perks of having your dinners booked for you. There was different point options within the hotel, but as I say, Royalton, they do have actually quite a few in the Caribbean, so I'm definitely looking forward to trying them out. Will we go next year? Who knows? They've got a new one called the Royalton Chic in Antigua, and this is kind of giving me like a hard rock vibe, where it's still the calm side of Royalton, but then like they spice it up of an evening, or your afternoon entertainment's a bit more jazzier. It's giving me very hard rock vibes, so who knows? Antigua has been somewhere on our list of where we're thinking perhaps, so who knows, we shall see. But overall I would say Royalton, very, very nice. Now, would I say it competes to Jamaica? I think it's very close. Jamaica for me, I think because it's the first, it will always hold that bar for me, but St Lucia was absolutely lovely as well. And as I say, I had a little bit of turbulence on the way back, but apart from that, we was all well and good. But as I say, guys, I do hope you've enjoyed this video. If you do, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe down below. Leave me a comment below. Have you been to St Lucia? Have you stayed at any Royaltons? Any other questions you want to ask me, leave them down below, and I'll be sure to get back to you as soon as I can. But take care, stay safe as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!